Hello, Sarve Janaha Sukino Bhuvanto, Stribhyaha Dirgha Sumangali Bhava, Kanyastribhyaha Shighrameva Vivaha Praptirasto, Sarva Manglani Abhivruddhir Bhavatu. Now I am giving you this once again a video in English about the willful fraud messages with some eyes and notes being circulated in WhatsApp on sanatana dharma. You see, there is a message that is now circulating that says about a widowed, a girl named Gokila, a Marathi Brahmin, and in Tanjore, and her husband was working in the Tanjore Palace as a officer or as an important post, and he died young. And therefore, now the story goes like this: this Gokila, there was a big function in the house. What is that function? With Nadaswaram, with lots of flowers, just like a marriage function, big function. This girl was only 13 years old, it seems, and she's not aware of that. What for is the function? Till an elderly middle-aged lady or somebody comes and tells to her in the ear, "Do not worry, it's not going to burn you." She couldn't even then understand. Then they brought the dead body of her husband, a young man perhaps, and in this scenario arrives a British army officer on a horseback and shooting on the air. He disperses all these relatives who are about to give her this sati on the funeral pyre along with the husband. So they all ran away. Then this British officer, like the hero in our movie, takes her, goes back to his house, and then next day he sends the company's servants. It was company in this year I am talking is 1746 she was born. Her name was Gokila. She died 1806. So the British took over India in 1855, their parliament officially. So the company's people came, and then they went and brought this girl and then took her to her agraharam, that is the houses of the Brahmins, rows of house of the Brahmins, and all of them shut their doors. All the Brahmin houses shut the doors, refusing to accept this girl. Then this British officer marries her, she lives with her as a concubine, and they beget a son. And then when she approaches the church, it was at that time started by a German priest, I think. They are all Protestants. They are not Catholics. They are Protestants. The British are Protestants, and Germans are Protestants. And that Father Schwartz, refuses to baptize her, saying that you don't live like a husband. You are not properly legally married in a church. It is so I cannot accept it. Then later on in 1785, he baptizes her. Now, in between, what happens? This British army officer, his name they say is Henry Lytton or something like that. So Henry, you can take it. His name is Henry. Now, this Henry also dies due to gout. The gout is some mysterious arthritis disease. He dies, and then he donates all his accumulated wealth to this Gokila, now renamed as Clarida, Rasa Clarida. And likewise the story goes, and she builds a church with her own earnings in Palayankota, that is near Tirunelveli, and the church is still there. There is a plaque there which says all this: built by Clarida of her own earnings, born 1756 and died 1806. This is the information available on the plaque of the church. Now, so how they are missing up they are building these stories. See, a person called Madhavaya, who died in 1925, was born around 1746 or so. 1846 or so, 1850s or so. He writes his story of Clarida as a fiction and novel. So he could have told her that because she is a Marathi Brahmin, this girl Gokila, the old name, he writes something probably with sati, to have taste, flavor, spice for readers to read. Now, these things were later on elaborated by Caldwell and all, who came to India after 1806. Caldwell came when he was around 24 years old, and he converted a lot of Tirunelveli people into Christianity, including Brahmins of all sects of Hinduism. He converted. And one of the aim to convert the women was about sati. They always talk of sati, where sati was not at all practiced in South India. Nobody knows. Women had died of suicide because unable to bear the grief of the death of their husbands. That's some incidents been reported. And in North, about 45-50 years back, a Rajput woman committed a sati, means voluntarily dying with her husband, unable to bear the grief of his loss. Otherwise, she would have committed a suicide. Suicides were reported. Even in Western society, suicides are reported. Unable to bear the grief of the separation of their husbands. Now, this sati is a word which deliberately could have happened with Rani Padmini. She volunteered to do, she wanted to do, because she should not be dishonored by Alauddin Khilji and his army. So maybe there one of this, but that is not mentioned in Sanatana Dharma, as I have already told you. But these British missionaries, the Christian missionaries, together now, of late, with these Tamil communities, some certain sects who are anti-Sanatana Dharma, they add all these stories and say this is a double-edged weapon. That's a story. That's a circular in WhatsApp messages nowadays. See how Sanatana Dharma treats women and how they are forced to commit sati, as if they go to the elders and talk in their ears. It will not burn. Now, common sense, apply your common sense. If the elderly women are going to conduct such function and go into the ears of the small young 13-year-old girl and say it's not going to burn, tomorrow they know that they also have to commit sati in these big functions with Nadasuram and all. Will any girl will they accept at any point of that time? It's a common sense. Now, these are all twisted stories. The Christian missionaries are good in twisting stories. They, from St. Thomas times, as if St. Thomas came to Kerala, converted a lot of people. First, I had been to a church called Palayur near Guruvayur. There, the Nambudiri Brahmins were worshipping what is known as Tarpana, Abo, Ishtha, Mayoboha. We throw the water in the air. He stopped the water and saying, I am powerful. And then the story goes that he retrieved people from death or something and cured them of all illnesses and all. The story goes like that. But then he comes by a pathway to Chennai and he was killed by a Brahmin Pujari with a shulaida as he was praying to his God. Now, such powerful St. Thomas, can he not save himself, or his God can he not save St. Thomas from being killed by a Brahmin Pujari who is an ordinary man who does not profess such powers? See, these Christian missionaries always do some exaggerations to bring truth, and as if theirs is the best religion and others are false. That is very wrong. In Mark, if you go, there are 4 Gospels. Gospel of Mark, go to chapter 16 and verse number 18. They say, those who believe in me, even if they take poison or even if they get bitten by a snake, they will not die. Now, if I am going to test it if anybody tests them with a bitter poison, a heavy dose of poison like potassium cyanide, no God can save any religion. These things are wrongful. Whereas our Veda says you are responsible for your own, so your karma takes over you. We will only help. The God helps. The gods are devas in our system. They help you to an extent to mitigate your evil karma if you have done earlier, or to enhance your good karma if you have done earlier. I have already explained. We don't tell lies, unnecessary wrongful information. Only Christians will go to heaven, the others will go to hell. The Islamics will go to heaven, the others will go to hell. That is a very God of partiality. See, they don't fit the modern logical arguments. They may be good at CRPC and CPC codes of rule of conduct. That I am not saying no. But they have the tendency to do, like Devasahayam Pillai, as if he was tortured by the army of Travancore Highness army, and then he was martyred to death and all this. See, Travancore Devasthanam is such a divine, noble kingdom in the world. They are all followers of Padmanabha. They are servants to Padmanabha. They don't even think of injuring an ant. See, and M.G. Narayanan says, the chairman of the Council of the Indian Historical Research and all, he says he never knows of anybody called Devasahayam Pillai who was a Nambudiri Brahmin, Devasahayam Pillai. In the army rolls of Travancore Rajyam, he never says the Travancore Kingdom. There is nothing in evidence. These are all taken with a pinch of salt by me. I mean, they don't reveal the real truths. So, these things were exaggerated, as if sati was there, and that's why you have to convert to Christianity or something like that, and that's why Sanatana Dharma is very bad. My God, what a wrongful information. Sanatana Dharma, the Vedic Dharma, very first verse, he says, Ano Bhadraha Kritavo Yantu Vishwataha. Let noble thoughts pour from all sides. They are very fair. They say, Akashat patitam toyam yadagacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam pradigacchati. Whatever God you worship finally goes to the Almighty only. That's what Kanchi Mahamunivar says. You worship your own God in the right way, nothing wrong. Everybody has their own belief. That is dharma. Mine is superior than you, yours is superior. That is partiality. You will go to hell if you worship other gods. You will come to heaven if you worship Christianity or these things. I may love Jesus Christ, but I don't like the way of Christianity. That's what Swami Kriyananda also says. A white American converted to Hinduism or Hindu faith. Yogananda Paramahamsa's Shishya, Swami Kriyananda. You can hear his lectures. You see, these type of, especially this Tamil Nadu people, certain sects, not because of anything. Sanatana dharma comes from the North Indians. They don't like Hindi and they don't like Sanskritam. So, not because they love something other than this, they hate this. So they hate Sanatana dharma because it comes from North. This type of a hatred is very wrong, even as per Thiruvalluvar. He says, Igal Kanan Akam, wealth, Varungal, Adanai, Migal Kanuga, Ked Dararku, he says. Ked Dararku, it will give only, destroy them. It will only harm them. Who? Those who have hatred. Those who don't see, Igal Kanan Akam, they will get the wealth. Those who do not have hatred will get wealth in the Varungal, in the future, in the coming years. But those who see Adanai Kanaga, those who see that, Adanai Migal Kanaga, those who see more, Migal, the success, the most in that hatred, who see positivity in that hatred, they will only destroy themselves. That's the meaning. Valluvar says don't hate. So why should these people hate the Sanatana Dharma? If you are a true follower of even Thiruvalluvar, you should not hate Sanatana Dharma. Because Dharma is Dharma, Adharma is Adharma. This type of a hatred politics should not be there. Try to do good people and expose yourself. And I have done so many good things, that is okay. But unnecessarily criticizing when it is not required. That apaishanam is required, sir. That's what it says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, verses 1, 2 and 3. Please go through that. Even Valluvar says, 859th verse. Please read. Valluvar says lot of things in Sanatana Dharma. Katradanal ayapayan enkol valarivan natra torarenin tamakkuvamai illadar தாழ் செயலார்க்கு அல்லார் மனக்கவலை மாண்டர் அரிது வேண்டுதல் வேண்டாமை இலானடி சேர்ந்தார்க்கு யாண்டும் இடும்பையில. He worships God. He says don't go to hatred. He says lots of verses. These people don't follow even that. They are a peculiar type of people, half crack. A full crack, I will treat them, go to the hospital, put them under the watch and ward, and they are safe there. These normal people like us are normal. This half crack, there will be normal people. But when they become crack, we don't know. And to cure them, it is very difficult. So, the only thing I think of is, just like Thiruvalluvar says, don't harm those who even they do harm to you. Do good to them so that they feel ashamed of the harm done unto you. So let them feel ashamed. Let us continue doing good to them. That's all. That is the best philosophy. That is Sanatana Dharma. So with this, I end my lecture. Till such time, Bhuyat Tavat Shubha Mangalam. Thank you.